Cheers and welcome, my friends. I'm Horath and we are playing Tyranny as a noble mage. Welcome back. This is actually the second time I record this episode. I already recorded this episode on Friday when I recorded the others. But I decided to record this a new one to take in some feedback that you guys have given me, and two, because I want to do a little bit of a change in this format. I haven't been playing too many role-playing games on this channel yet, but it's difficult to find the correct pacing for the RPGs. I've been watching a lot of RPG Let's Players in the last couple of weeks to sort of learn how to properly do it. I mean, the Expedition's Viking Conquest has been very well received by people, and it seems that people are really liking the way I get into this. But the pace can actually be bogged down, and since I'm already, let's say, a Let's Player who isn't the fast-paced, I have sort of decided to try to make the main Let's Play episodes a bit more fast-paced. We're still gonna read the dialogue, we're still gonna talk with all the people, but for example, additional stuff like talking over here with Verse. Verse has a lot to say. In the episode that I have now thrown away basically by recording this one, I talk with our new companion. We're gonna get a new companion in this episode, and I ended up talking with him, and this episode went on for 1 hour and 10 minutes. And I've sort of decided to sort of make these into a bonus episode. So I'm gonna make a normal episode where you see mainly gameplay and talking with people and stuff, and then I'll sort of do bonus episodes where I make I'm gonna name them, I don't know, bonus talk with Verse or bonus talk with the name of the new companion, and then we're sort of gonna go through the talking options. And if you want to go in depth, if you want to go lore heavy, if you want to experience everything with me, then you can watch these bonus episodes. And if you just want to sort of follow the gameplay and follow the main plot, then you can just ignore those or come back to them whenever you want. So that's sort of my my idea, my solution for the pacing problem that RPGs can sometimes have. I still want to read the things because, I mean, this is a classical RPG, so you are prepared to read a lot of stuff. I am. My voice is prepared as well. And I'll do the best of it. I'm sort of going to do the voices. I'm going to deliberate over choices, but I'll try to improve the pacing a little bit at least. Second thing that I wanted to talk about is to incorporate some feedback of you guys. So, Immoral Jester, and actually, I love these. I love these sort of discussions. So I'm really happy that you guys are getting into it with me as well. So Immoral Jester said under the Justice episode that I should watch out that I don't become the biggest softy in the tiers, because the morality system in this one is a bit different. I think he was talking about that merchant that I let go, and maybe even the guy from the Vendrian Guard that I ordered executed, and that I then ended up killing after I saw him squirming at the stake. And I sort of concur with Eboyd. I thought about these choices. Eboyd is another subscriber who chimed in. These choices were made deliberately, so there's no real morality in this system. You might know that I actually have a degree in philosophy, a master's degree, and I'm really happy how this game is handling morality and ethics in a way, because Evil One is the title, and if evil actually wins, the morality meter, like you see it in, I don't know, earlier BioWare games, is really a moot point. And the morality here, or the choices here, basically range between, let's say, order and chaos. And we are very close to law, to order. That's how I'm trying to play my character, and it has to be Kairos' law. I definitely agree with you there, Immoral Jester. It has to be Kairos' law. The problem is, I am not yet a scholar of Kairos' law. So whenever I see Kairos' law mentioned specifically in a dialogue, the game is giving me a hint as to what the law is laid down by Kairos. I'm gonna follow it. I'm trying to follow it, and I'm gonna follow it in the spirit. Because that's what we are. We are a fate binder of Tyranny the Adjudicator, and we have to sort of stay true to that. That is what I want to do. But I think the choices that I made so far actually follow that pretty closely. I wanted the other guy executed, but I didn't want him tortured, because that's not a thing. And you also gotta take into account the backstory of our character. I agree that it is currently difficult for me to make these choices correctly according to the character, because my picture of the character is still a little bit fuzzy. We had all these background choices, but it's difficult to get a grip on someone who would basically denounce their own parents and then join and swear fealty to Tunin instead of, I don't know, rebelling and losing his life, which is what I would have done, I guess. But so we are a minion, and we have to do evil's bidding, but we don't have to do it willingly. We don't have to do it willingly. I mean, the evil guys, no one's going to go ahead and say, yeah, I'm evil, die. And instead you have sort of these two choices, right? Order and chaos. Both of these, or the chaotic guys wouldn't say chaos, they would say freedom. Not being bound down, or you see that in Greek philosophy very often nature's law is what they take for freedom. So sort of the survival of the fittest, that is for them the law of nature. And that is very much exemplified in the Scarlet Chorus. They fight each other violently. Whoever seems to be the strongest or can kill his superior or her superior sort of rises up, and they are sort of chaos controlled by this very chaotic head, the Voices of Nerat, which is really evil if you think about it. It's very close to what the Nazis in Nazi Germany wanted. The survival of the fittest and Darwinism. It's odd that you actually would see them in the Scarlet Chorus more than in the Disfavored. I mean, the Disfavored have sort of the German virtues of thoroughness and discipline and all that. So if these two armies were combined and would really work together, they could be a really creepy force. And they are already doing a very good job at being evil, but they don't think that they are evil themselves. So yeah, you got the chaos and you got the law, and we're definitely gonna try to go for the law, but we also we have no interest in being too harsh, because we are one person amongst a lot of other persons. And you see how these people talk about it. They saying they bringing culture to these savages, to these backwoods people. And that is sort of the narrative of the good people in Kairos' law. Those people that think about themselves as being good and friendly. And that's what I wanna bring to this. So we're not gonna be a softie. I'm gonna execute people if they have to. I'm gonna kill them if they have to be killed by Kairos' law. I haven't decided yet if we're actually gonna rebel. I have no idea what the game is gonna present me in forms of active actions that I can't take to rebel against Kairos. I mean, especially at this moment, if nothing else happens, Kairos is so far above us in terms of power and ability. I mean, we're just carrying out an edict, or we just brought an edict over here that will kill everyone in this valley just because Kairos said so. I got no idea how this magic works, but it's gonna be rather difficult to fight against a person who can basically destroy everyone in a specific valley on the other end of another continent. That's just crazy. That's very, very powerful. Well, we can sort of do rebellions and stay true to our character. We'll try to sort of develop the character as we go further, and sort of hone my decision-making process by finding out what is allowed by Kairos, what is not allowed by Kairos. Maybe we should have killed the looter guy, the merchant that was selling back the loot. I'm just not sure. If you have any ideas concerning this topic, please leave them in the comments. I'm happy to discuss these kinds of things, because they really do interest me, and I find that the game is tackling them in a very interesting way. And I mean, if you really play a role-playing game, why not actually play that role and sort of go after the role and the character? And then I thought about the conversation with the Archons, and I sort of was holding back rather heavily, being very deferential to them. And I think that is because our character actually learned how to... I think we're going to unpause, so just so people move. I think our character learned to withhold his judgment. I mean, he's in a very peculiar position, sort of wielding a lot of power, whilst also being on a rather tight leash. We always have the threat of our parents, our family being killed if we don't behave properly. We can't really afford to be a loose gun. I mean, it would also be difficult for Tyranny to keep a hold of us when he then finally kills our parents. But up until that point, as long as he can keep that threat dangling above our heads, we have to play nice. We have to be Tyrann's eyes, ears, and mouthpiece, basically. And that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm observing the Archons. I'm not sure if I can really give them orders. Yes, I'm here to bring the edict, and yes, I'm here to observe for Tyranny. That I can't really order them, but what I've seen so far and what my sort of assessment is of the situation, the voices of Horath are playing their own game. Oh, he's playing their own game. I'm just gonna say they, because it's gonna get confusing. So voices of Horath are playing their very own game. They are, I think, trying to kill off the disfavored. I think that is their plan. They're trying to actively sabotage them, because I think their idea is that if they are a lot stronger than the disfavored, then Tyranny will give them these newly conquered lands, because that seems to be how Kairos' conquering spree seems to work. He makes Archons out of the strongest foes, and makes one of the leaders of his armies who have conquered the most recent lands, makes them sort of the vassal that owns all these lands, or gets all these lands as a fief. And one of these two is gonna be it, either Grave and Ash or the Voices of Horath. And I think the Voices of Horath is sort of trying to sabotage the disfavored just enough that they are slowly getting weaker and weaker. And I'm pretty sad that I sort of played into their hand in the conquest. I really should not have given the iron place, the iron settlement, to the Scarlet Chorus. That was just bad. I should have given that to the disfavored, because the disfavored are the ones that need the iron, and they need to sort of secure the iron supply. That was the one choice that I truly regret out of the conquest, which is sort of appropriate, because one would think that I should regret burning down a whole monastery full of mages and stuff, burning them all alive, or killing all these people in the conquest way more. But that's just how that goes. I mean, conquest is conquest. People are gonna die, and we are only concerned with terms of power and sort of, yeah, bringing the law. That's what we want to do. So now, sorry, enough of this rambling. If you have any ideas, please leave them in the comments to sort of take this forward. I do read the comments that I get, and I try to incorporate them into my play as well. So thanks for sort of bringing this up, because it is difficult. I felt sort of fuzzy. It was easier for me to make decisions in Expeditions Viking, just because I could draw a lot from my own historical knowledge. I didn't have to float freely and sort of make decisions without having much of a base. So going forward, we're gonna observe the Archons. I'm definitely gonna observe them, and if I get more evidence that the Voices of Nerat are actually playing a double game and not doing Kairos' bidding, I'm gonna sabotage them. I'm gonna hurt them. I will not allow anyone to sort of hurt Kairos or tune on our own Archon, because that's why we're here. But at the moment, I am not a war leader, and it's not my role really. I don't think, at least. So yeah, for now, let's go and do some talking. So what I want to do, no, come on, guys. Since I already played this section once, I know that my favor with these disfavored guys is currently too low to make much of a dent in the talking options. A lot of options I can't talk with people because my favor is too low. So, but there is a way to get up our favor and sort of get more dialogue out of people, and that's what we're gonna do. So we find some stuff over here in this one, and there's also a chest over here that we can loot.
Good thing I keep a torsion wrench handy.
This merchant tunic is actually better than what I have, but I don't want it. I don't want it. I mean, just like in Dark Souls, Fashion Souls is king and role playing is king. So this is gonna look rather ugly if I actually decide to use it. Where is it? Come on, come out here. It looks odd. Makes me look like a shepherd. I'm not a shepherd. Okay, so let's talk with this guy, Atanas. Atanas curses the air as a blade of thin iron breaks in half beneath his hammer. Repairing weapons with scrap isn't exactly why I got into this craft, but our supplies are spent. He wipes the sweat from his brow and gets a better look at you. Why not forge bronze? Bronze will do in a pinch, don't get me wrong. It can take a beating and get bent back into shape, unlike this stubborn iron we have here. He glances at a pile of his work with dread. And we always have plenty of tin and copper lying around, so supplies aren't the problem. It's a rare smith who can churn out military-grade bronze consistently. More often than not, it comes out soft. Look around camp. We're garbing the Legion head to toe in iron, because it's cheaper and easier to produce for the masses. Couldn't do that with bronze. They call the disfavored the Iron Legion for a reason. Strategy and skill may be our backbone, but our claws are made of iron. The good stuff that comes from the smiths in Lethian's Crossing, which I gave to them. Let's have a look at it. The years following Kairos' conquest of the Tiers, the population of Lethian's Crossing swelled with refugees fleeing. Oh, that's still the same thing that we got in the conquest. Yeah, the Scarlet Chorus is controlling this, and that's why I guess these guys have their iron shortage. You mentioned an iron shortage? I'm afraid so. The last shipment sent down the Matani went missing near Echo Call Crossing, and I'm afraid we won't be seeing any more now that the valley is sealed. Forge-bound iron is Tyrannon's responsibility. Why is this the first I'm hearing of it? Keep your voice down! Izatani flinches and lowers his own. Gravenash doesn't want to cause a panic or pass any information to the Vendring Guard. Best case scenario, the iron tumbled off a boat and is rustling on a riverbed. Worst case, it ends up in enemy hands. Yeah, I don't want to piss them off. I already feel guilty that I didn't make sure that they got their supply of iron, because these guys need it. The Scarlet Chorus, they don't really need the iron. Yes, they need weapons, but they don't really care for the quality of it. They're not an elite group. They just take whoever is on the losing side and make them their own soldier. If I find myself in Echo Call, I suppose I can keep an eye out. I appreciate that, as does the great general, more than you might guess. Maybe he isn't quick to offer his thanks to outsiders, but I know he'll be grateful for your help. It would be a boon to the war effort if our iron was recovered. You can trust me to handle this. I gain favor now, and that is just what I needed to get pushed over the edge to favor level 1. I knew that Tunon wouldn't have dispatched you without good reason. The court isn't exactly known for gambling when the stakes are high. Glances to a crate beside him and points to a small set of notches in the wood. You see that? That is how we tell apart our iron shipments from the rest. Inconspicuous, so people don't go snooping around. You want to keep your eye out for these. Good hunting. Alright, so we got a bunch of forge-bound iron. It's sort of odd that they would actually just send iron instead of sending weapons. If you remember, those forge-bound mages are sort of able to very deftly craft metal stuff because they can use sort of fire resistance spells and stuff to not take damage from the fire. And now they're just sending iron for this smith to hammer into shape. That's really weird. Well, maybe he's using it for repairs or something, but you would sort of think that these smiths are also able to make the best weapons, and that they just send weapons instead of raw iron, I guess. Or maybe I'm just misunderstanding this. So we're gonna go over here. Now we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Should we talk with the Iron Marshal first? I guess so. Iron Marshal. Don't just coddle the impact. Push back with your shield. Take the momentum. Iron Marshal Arrhenius, field command of the disfavored, pounds her fist in the air as she calls out to the warriors on the training field. I said close! I said eyes on your opponent's waistline. If you spend more than a glance checking his footwork, you've lost. The disfavored officer turns to you, adjusting her pale golden circlet as she clears her throat. What's that? Judging from her uniform, this is the Iron Marshal Arrhenius, first among equals in the Iron Guard, Graven Ash's inner circle of trusted followers. Charged with being the duties of leadership, logistics and training, there's rarely a quiet day for the second in command of the disfavored legion. Okay. Need to stay on top of the troops or their skills will rust. It's for their own good, even if they don't believe it. Was mentioned... I could ask for this. I kept it close though, maybe they are not reacting. How are your warriors reacting to the edict? Kairos' ultimatum has the camp on edge. Some with dread, but most are rife with anticipation. She points to the men sparring in the field. We have a lot of brothers and sisters to avenge, and the warriors are eager to take out some aggression. I, for one, choose to see the edict as a blessing, for it forces the generals to act, and we're long overdue. It was mentioned you're short on warriors and need help. What's the situation? I have brigades amassing along Placid, Echo Call, and Little Tooth crossings. The Vandrian Guard may be able to hold one bridge, but they cannot hold against a concerted, three-pronged attack. I've no right to give you orders, but... Her words falter, a short cough breaking her flow. But we all died to Kairos' edict should we fail, so I'm not about to let my pride blind me to the value of good help. Yeah, I'm sort of missing a little bit the conversation wheel from Mass Effect, because I don't know which of these options will actually lead me further, and which of these options will sort of, which of these options will push on the dialogue, and which of these will just give me background information. I will assist. Then our plan might just work. Just might work. The Iron Marshal lifts her gauntlet close to her face, shifting her eyes from you to the metal articulations. We are loath to work with those who do not share our training and our values, but we know that Tunon the Adjudicator selects only the most capable minds for his court, and I trust you will honor us all on the field. Antio will be leading the charge at Echo Call Crossing. Assisting you will be Barrick of the Stone Shields. She points to a heavily armored soldier standing sentry at the edge of the training field. Before you ask, no, the Forgebound weren't sloshed on Dappleseed when they fitted his armor. He survived the full force of the Edict of Storms, and his armor doesn't exactly come off. Typically, it's quite brilliant. But otherwise, tactically it's quite brilliant, but otherwise, it's something of a curse. Tapping her helmet twice, Arrhenius signals to the hulking presence. Barrick, come meet the Fatebinder. The soldier that steps up to you better resembles an amalgamation of rusted blades and mismatched pieces of armor fused into a vaguely human shape. He reeks of sweat, feces, and whatever oil treatment keeps him flexible.
Fatebinder, the Iron Marshal has tasked me with keeping you alive, and I have no intention of disappointing her. That should be enough assurance for anyone.
An honor.
Likewise, good binder.
The soldier heaves a heavy iron arm into a salute, his whole body clanging as he wraps his gauntlet against the twisted sheets of metal that form his breastplate.
Beric, is that you under there? I had no idea you were in Vendrian's well. Fatebinder, do you know this walking anchor?
Just a minute. You two know each other?
No. Oh, that is to say, yes. I'm already as familiar with this ironclad halfwit as I care to be.
She regards Beric with a mixed look.
We don't have time to trade jabs today, Verse. After the siege, you can throw as many tantrums as you please. I suggest that we remain focused on the mission.
No offense to the mission, but seeing you looking like a garbage heap and reeking of a mass grave is more amusing by far. Did you forget how to don your armor, or did Grave and Ash leave you out in the rain?
Beric sighs, a frustrated growl shaking his iron enclosure of a suit. I know him as well as I knew anyone during the conquest.
That can change. When the tiers are fully under our command, I'll take you to whatever passes for a watering hole in this forsaken country. We'll drink the local swill to honor the fallen.
Okay, that's nice of you.
Forget the fallen. I know a great brothel in Lethian's Crossing where we can watch something rise, then fall, then rise again.
I like your way of thinking. The Fatebinder will be joining us for the push across the river. I figured an extra hand might help. And more importantly, if my worries come true and the chorus tries to impede the mission, we will have an observer from the court on our side.
Better to work with the honorable binder than some chorus children.
He nods to you, his armor creaking as he bends his neck. I ask that Beric accompany you there to arbitrate the cooperation between his company and the Scarlet Chorus. Beric, you've been without a cohort since the last Battle of Stalwart. It's time we gave you a task more worthy than hauling wagons and leading training drills. She plants her hands on her hips and speaks in clipped official terms. Ash has assigned you to the Facebinder service. You're to assume this task is ongoing until we find a more permanent spot for you, which could very well mean the swiftly approaching end of this war, or when the Fatebinder dismisses you. Is that understood? Beric regards the Iron Marshal in oppressive silence. That's an order, Beric. She shakes her head and sighs, returning her focus to you. He can be as stubborn as pulling a spy out of the earth, but he's a good soldier. I hope you don't mind the company. I'm honored to have a member of the Iron Legion at my side. Excellent. I look forward to your success in the field. Yeah, that's a shame because that didn't give us the other options. The edict draws near. Preparations are almost complete, but we aren't moving fast enough. Hey. She looks past you, yelling at a soldier far afield. I said round up those javelins! Not a suggestion. She folds her arms, looking at you expectantly. So we couldn't ask the other questions about what is being what's the benefit of taking the crossings, but I think that is pretty obvious. We need to get over the river. We need to take these crossings to do it, or this campaign will end soonish, I guess, because I mean you have heavily armored soldiers and all that. Crossings have been sort of choke points for military campaigns through the ages, and it isn't any different in here, it would appear. Even though you would think that, for example, a Frost Mage might be able to sort of freeze the water, let the army over, or something like that. That's a thing that you can do in Divinity Original Sin, which has a great magic system. Haven't seen a lot of good magic systems like that where you can actually manipulate the environment and all that. If you haven't actually checked out Divinity Originals, then you should definitely do that. I also dig the magic system in here, just haven't seen anything that really allows me to manipulate the environment. Oh yeah, what is your role in the Disfavored? I'm Commander of the Iron Guard, Swordmaster of the Disfavored, and Captain of the 3rd Boreal Company. Her voice booms loudly as her titles roll off her tongue. Command of the Iron Guard, doesn't that make you second in command next to Ash? That I am, she folds her arms, but I view it a very, very distant second, and have no plans to outlive the immortal Graven Ash. So while by tradition I am Executor, or I suppose Executrix of the Legion, I hope never to act on that sacred duty. There's no tooltip for the Executor. That's a shame. Make no mistake, Graven Ash is the mind of the disfavored. I am but his right hand, a student to his military genius. She certainly is loyal. Where have you seen battle? Let's see. Gates of Judgment, Basset City, quick jaunt through parts of Haven, then onto Stalwart. She looks up at you with a shrug. And finally here, Vendrin's Well. Quite a tour it's been. Back to my previous questions. What can you tell me about Ascension Hall, which is what we have to hold to fulfill Kairos' edict? Kairos' edict is redirecting us to take Ascension Hall. That's what the locals call the inner sanctum of the citadel, built at the base of the mountain spire. She points east toward the narrow, vertical line of stone that rises above all other points in the horizon. It's also the base camp for the Vendrian Guard, so taking Ascension Hall has always been one of our objectives in putting down this insurrection. But now we have a life or death reason to make that citadel our own, our one and only focus. Who is the strongest warrior in your cohort? Modesty demands I omit myself, but if I had to form the legion into one giant phalanx, I'd have Sevius the Younger and Beric take the corners. Sevius has been at this since before I was born, and Beric, well, she hesitates. Well, what? I'm neither deaf nor fragile. Say what you were going to say. I was going to say that you're perhaps one of the best warriors in the outfit. But good luck getting you to wear your regulation uniform. You're good soldier, Beric, but you know you're a pain in my ass. I can't be an asshole again. So you're sticking me with the problem child of your cohort. No. I'm honored to be assigned one of your finest. These are real people with feelings. I wouldn't want to hurt him. The honor is mine. When this campaign is over, I hope you'll accompany me in hanging more Vendrian savages along the road. Think of the stories we'll have to trade. Yeah, that's sort of the pastime of evil people. Hey, did you remember that one time when we went and hanged all these people? That was nice. Have you already spoken with this dude? Pretty sure. What might I do for you? See something you like? Yeah, we already talked with him. Okay, so cheers, mate. Later. Let me do a quick save, and then we're going to talk with Sevius over here. Welcome back, Fatebinder. Sevius leans back and crosses his arms. What is it you need? Yeah, we can ask these questions now because we got the favor. Why do you think the siege has delayed for so long? It should have been over real quick and simple. The first cohort arrived in the valley and went right for the kill. But that was before we knew the Vendrian Guard had sages and that water witch on their side. So they are actually controlling the forts. Bigger problem is the Scarlet Chorus. They eagerly conscript the Vendrian Guard, but I have no proof of this. But it seems they do very little to keep a watchful eye on these drafted tiersmen. They are often sent out on patrol, and we suspect they use that opportunity to escape back to the Vendrian Guard. Well, I mean, it is possible that they are sort of being brainwashed by the voices of Nerat and then sent back. That's a thing. But it certainly looks suspicious. Every Chorus conscript has a choice. Live under Kairos or death under the army's boots. By all means, feel free to cut down those who choose the latter. We won't be offended. Just so we don't mistake each other, I know what I'm saying carries an implication of treachery. I'm not making a formal accusation before Tunan's agent. I'm just voicing my gut opinion on the matter. Okay. Two armies haven't worked well together in years. Why do you think that is? I know, we've seen that already, I think. Yeah, we saw that exchange. Tell me about yourself. Yeah, that's... Now he does it. Not much to tell. My father was Sevius the Elder. His father was Sevius the First of his name, lead drill master of Ash's first Iron Guard, back when they were the Bronze Guard. I was born into the Legion, and with any hope I'll die in the Legion. The rest you will hopefully hear about when the storytellers immortalize me. So we do have a lore option. It was in the Bronze Guard, so your family must have been with Ash since before he was with Kairos. Before he bent the knee to Kairos, Graven Ash rallied his legions against the Overlord's authority. His prowess on the battlefield ingratiated him to the Archons, who welcomed him into their ranks in exchange for his obedience. So, he was in the Bronze Guard. Again, 17 lore skill experience. You know your history, Sevius nods with gusto. The blood goes back that far. Not the memories, as I only ever knew my father. My grandfather was just a legend. One of Ash's best warriors back before the disfavored were reforged in iron. He shrugs. I'm proud of my heritage, but I try not to brag. There are folks who love the Legion every bit as much as I do, but they lack the same pedigree. Speaking of heritage, how's your family looking these days, Beric? Are they still the pride of the North, or have they debased themselves in some unspeakable manner? Speak not of my family verse, or of our honor. You have no right. She chuckles. Don't I? Very well. Go about your ignorant way, you dumb ironclad. I'll say no more. I wonder if those two don't have a thing going on, sort of a love-hate relationship. The disfavored soldier observes the exchange with interest and aims an unspoken question at Beric before shrugging. Yeah, we're not going to ask about the Bronze Guard again, because that would be kind of stupid after deigning to know what the Bronze Guard is. You should be proud of your pedigree. Thanks, but I try not to think about it too fondly. If anything, every time I screw something up, I wish I wasn't dragging the family name through mud along with me. Okay, back to my other questions. I think we're done with you. That's good. And we already talked with you. Can't talk with you. That's just an earth shaker. Let's save it. Let's talk with these guys. I'm Lucia. This is Marcus. That his favorite soldier points to the armored man next to her. And you must be the Fatebinder. I think we read through that already. As one of Tunan's Fatebinders, you are traveling deputy of law, authorized to be judged, jury, and executioner in Tunan's absence. You have authority over civilians and soldiers alike. There isn't anything about Archons, though Tunan may freely destroy you should you misuse your power. Scarlet Chorus and disfavored soldiers are required to abide by your judgment, a fact that often offends those who feel they should only have to answer to the rules put forth by their Archon. Yeah, we are sort of the second powerful person after the Archons, but I don't think we can tell the Archons what to do. You must be the Fatebinder. From under her helmet you hear an audible scoff. We've been assigned to babies. Assigned to your hospitality, Marcus quickly interjects, while you remain on disfavored ground. If you should need a place to rest, we can make the necessary preparations. What can we do for you? Marcus, tell me about yourself. Not sure there's much to tell you. I trained at Fort Resolution. This is my first campaign, and I'm proud to be with the Legion. I was wounded at the Gates of Judgment, but Graven Ash's protection mended me good. I owe my life to him. Are you bragging that you let your guard down and took a spear to the gut? You really shouldn't boast about a filthy tearsman besting you in battle. Lucia rolls her eyes. It's just bitter that Lord Ash never seems to notice you. In all seriousness, I would take that spear again if it brought honor to the disfavored. Kairos knows we could use it. We are the elite fighters of the Northern Army, but somehow we still lack the Overlord's confidence. He shakes his head and sighs. Lucia, tell me about yourself. I do this. She unenthusiastically lifts up her heavy shield. And I do this. She mockingly stabs at the air with her spear. Lucia shrugs. Playing host is not my strong suit. I like her. Ignore my sarcasm. I've seen the Legion through my share of the campaign. After so much bloodshed, our pretenses of honor can wear me down. She turns a cautious eye your way. The North is my home, and I consider each and every one of the ironclad bastards in this camp to be my family. You won't find another army where each member of the phalanx is as beloved and cherished as the next. You seem happy with the weapon, Lucia. Okay, that could say that now. Aye, and if you ever want some pointers on how to use that weapon of yours, let me know. She winks. Is that a sexual innuendo? Lucia, are you flirting with Tunan's Fatebinder? Looks like it. Relax, Marcus. There are plenty of camp slaves if I ever need to scratch an itch. Although, through the visors of her helm, you notice Lucia's eyes roving up and down your body. If you ever need someone to warm your bedroll, let me know. I sleep in my armor. Hope you don't mind. So do I, but you don't hear me bragging about it. How have your skills fared in battle against the Oathbreakers, Marcus? Every battle is a reminder of the Legion's superiority. The Oathbreakers have plenty of heart, but nothing to beat our northern values and Graven Ash's love. Yeah, northern values, like subduing everyone who is weaker than them. If you ever want to enjoy that feeling, I can spare you the time of day to cross Iron. What's it like serving with the disfavored? In spite of our name, the Legion commands more honor than any military on the face of Territus. Unlike the Chorus, there's tradition, discipline, teamwork, and unity of purpose. Marcus looks out across the camp. There aren't many of us, but it's better that way. We're a tightly knit family, bound together by trust and glory. Accurate enough, Lucius shrugs. After seeing the disunity and bickering of the younger realm defenders, I feel lucky to be in the most agreeable legion of Kairos' host, even if we're not always the most efficient. If the legion boasts so much honor, why are they disfavored? And I got the insufficient reputation. I'm afraid that isn't for me to say. Others around camp might be able to tell you more, but I don't really discuss the great general's history to outsiders. But you'll say that it involves the great general, which is already telling a clue, idiot! Drat. At least the Iron Marshal isn't within earshot, or I'd be washing my mouth out with wormwood. And then I can train with these guys, which is pretty useful. Marcus, I'd like some training. Of course, Feindbinder. Marcus pounds his fist on his armor in salute. So I can train one-handed, two-handed, and parry. Neither of these are things that we actually need. I don't think we can train 5 times this one level. No. What's with you? Lucia, I could use some training. Finally, some fun to break up the monotony of the siege. I can train dodge, athletics, and thrown weapons with her. Okay, well, how are my abilities here? Oh, we had a level up. With each level, you can increase one of your character's attributes, might, finesse, and so on. Yes, that's nice. Increasing an attribute costs 1 point until the attribute score reaches 19. To raise an attribute from 19 to 20 requires 2 attribute points. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy. I can't, though. He can. Yeah, he can. So we could level up Barrack. Really like him. He looks kind of crazy. All this metal looks like it must hurt, and I can't sort of remove this. We're gonna speak with him in the bonus episode, but I think I'm gonna end it now. So we got 51 dodge. No, wait, that's him. No. So I need to dodge. Quick finger bangers, +1 quickness. Dodge skill defense against range attacks from bows, javelins, or magic spells. Higher skill ranks will reduce damage taken or even cause enemies to miss their attacks altogether. That's a pretty useful thing for us. We don't really need the parry. Defense against melee attacks and spells. That's not really what we need. I mean, I could also train the athletics, which is sort of the persuasion skill of this thing. I don't understand why. Ability to intimidate or physically overpower someone. But yeah, I think we might be better off with using dodge, because we always sort of stay in the second row, I think, and do that kind of stuff. And then we got the talent points. We don't have one, but and we're going to do that when we get to it. Yeah, the companions sort of have unique trees where you can invest something if you want to. Skewer or skirmisher. Oh, she has one in each. Interesting. And yeah, he's got one free, and I don't have one anywhere. So yeah, but that's it for now. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you didn't, tell me why in the comments so I can improve. And if you want to see more of this in the future, please consider subscribing to this channel. In the next episode, I think we'll go to the camp of the Scarlet Chorus. We also got the... No, that's not what I want. Come on. I guess I gotta do it that way. No, over here. Yeah. So we got Echo Core Crossing. We got the Northern Clearing. Disfavored Earthshakers reportedly travel to this location, may still be present. Yeah, I think we're gonna go to the camp, see if we can pick anything up in terms of stuff that we need to do, maybe some more map markers, and then I don't think we'll go to Echo Core Crossing first. I think we'll move over here first and sort of clear the stuff before we cross the river. I think that might be the best idea. But for now, yeah, thanks. Hope you join me next time. Bye bye.